and a very warm welcome to all of you. I hope you're enjoying the weekend. I'm Neha Bhardwaj-Alter and this is Game On. We witnessed an absolute edge-of-the-seat thriller last night. Pakistan needed 1 wicket and South Africa needed to score 11 runs in 27 balls. There was drama every delivery. The C word was finding its way back in the match copies. Two gentlemen who are on the show today, they were wondering how they'll face us after another horrid prediction. But South Africa saved themselves and Chetan Nirula and Jamie Alter by holding on by the barest of margins. Now, while Pakistan are looking at taking an early flight home. Hello, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us here. You know what I would have done if Pakistan had won? I would have replayed that clip of your predictions from last night, but it wasn't to be. How good was that match, though? Let's begin with Chetan today. The best match of the tournament so far.
I wouldn't call it the best match of the tournament. I mean, there were two teams who were trying their best not to win the game. So
let's disagree from the start.
Yes,
let's set the tone.
do that.
Chalo.
I think there have been other matches. I think India-New Zealand was probably one of the best games of the tournament. I think South Africa have given better account of themselves in other games. I think Afghanistan beating England and then Pakistan were also great games. I mean, I don't adhere to this definition that only close games are great games. I think that's a very colonial mindset. I don't really accept that. I don't really agree with that. I think there have been better games in this tournament. Yesterday, we saw two teams who were trying their best not to win the game. And I was surprised that South Africa, didn't really perform up to its regular potential that it has shown in the other games. Forget the Netherlands game, but, they redeveloped that momentum in the last two games getting here. So I think I was a little surprised by some of the shot selection yesterday.
Chetan, Jamie, do you agree with Chetan about this being not such a great match? Do we have a colonial mindset, you and me?
No, I wouldn't say colonial mindset, but look, I just wanted one match to go down to the wire. Maybe it's because we watch a lot more T20s and we're used to it, but I've had a problem with the utterly one-sided. In fact, I was looking at the stats. 52% of these matches have been, one-sided match in the traditional sense of one-sided. If you go back, and I was looking at a couple old World Cups, this has been the most, after a cutoff of 26 matches, it has been statistically, I know Chetan doesn't take stats seriously, I do. It has statistically been the most lopsided, one-sided one-day World Cup, at least in the last 20 years. I don't have enough time to go back and check, but I checked scorecards up to game number 26. So from that perspective, I'm not going to change my stance. I wanted a close match. I really couldn't care who wins, who loses. I just wanted a close match. But we have to accept that the chances of these close match happening are when two abject sides play. And let's face it, after bossing this World Cup, South Africa have underlined that the choker's tag is far from removable. And going forward, like I said yesterday, when teams play them, they're going to want to put this team under pressure. No captain. I think Joss Butler did a great favor to this World Cup by saying to them that day on that scorching afternoon, hey guys, bat. Had England batted, had they managed to get to 270 with their bowling attack, they would have given South Africa a very, very tough time. Yeah. So yes, South Africa are number one, but this is a clear, and I will fight this until my dying breath. There are two South Africas playing this World Cup. The team that bats first and the team that chases. It's a joke. They couldn't chase 245 against the Dutch, ranked 14. And yesterday, had Pakistan not left three, I'll go back to them. Two areas Pakistan lost this match. Leaving 3.2 overs out there against this South African team and bowling 15 wides. Even a half-decent side would have shut the door, and with better bowling, Keshav Maharaj and Shamsi would have been back in the hotel long before. So my point is, do not take the South African side seriously when they're chasing. If anyone supports them, I wish you all the best, but you're going to be crying when this World Cup ends.
I thought it was an absolute thriller. I loved every bit of it. First, because South Africa's choker stack, suddenly it came back and you felt, oh my gosh, are they going to lose? So every ball was dramatic. The way Pakistan were trying to come back, you could see some bits of that rift that everybody has been talking about. You could see that on the field in the way Babar Azam and Mohammad Wasim were talking. There was too much drama. And to me, I thought this tournament needed something like that because we've seen upsets. We know that this tournament has been about upsets and those have been the exciting matches, but this was, right till the end. There was drama yeah, it was a close match. I loved it because in this closest match of the World Cup so far, South Africa's last pair held their nerve to seal a thrilling one-wicket win over Pakistan in Chennai. The win put South Africa on top of the points table. They left Pakistan virtually out of the running for the semi-finals. The hero at the end for the Proteas was Keshav Maharaj, who with his team 9 down, swept the winning boundary with 16 deliveries left. The win ended a 24-year World Cup jinx against Pakistan and put South Africa one step away from the final four. Set a target of 271. South Africa were indebted to Aiden Marram, who hit a crucial 91 from 93 balls to hold up one end of a tricky chase, which saw every single batter get a start, but none bar Marram made it to 30. Once again, questions have risen about South Africa's ability to chase, given they failed to get 245 versus Netherlands and just about got over the line last night. Pakistan were not helped by those 15 wides that Jamie was mentioning and an umpire's call in Haris Raw's last over that went against them. In the 46th over, Tabraiz Shamsi, he survived a close LBW call, but on review, it was an umpire's call, which led to many asking if this rule about the on-field umpire's call or the soft signal really given by the on-field umpire, whether it should be changed given if the ball is clipping the stumps, then why is it not out just because the on-field umpire didn't give it out? We're going to have this conversation as well. Harbhajan Singh has an opinion on this. There are others who've come on social media and spoken about it. So both Chetan and Jamie will talk about it. But let's just stick with what happened last night when it came to, some of the performers. And for Pakistan, Jamie, to see that they tried everything, they tried to come back, that was nice. For a team under tremendous amount of pressure, they've been trolled, they've been brutally criticized, we've been talking about it. Babar Azam cuts a lonely figure. Seems like there's nobody out there who's supporting him at the moment. So in that sense, Pakistan did well to really stretch it right till the end.
Now, whether Pakistan did well to stretch it or South Africa is just, I just laugh when I see this team set a target of over 250. They're just not going to be able to do it. So the match became close, Maya, because of the ineptness on both sides. Everyone, and I'll say it again, there are 2 South African teams playing this World Cup. Look at their 5 wins. They've all come when they're batting first. They've had to chase twice. And I'll say it again, they couldn't get 245 against Netherlands. And yesterday, against any other team, probably barring Bangladesh or Sri Lanka, they would have lost this match, So, what actually did Pakistan do that was anything, from the script, they batted poorly, they bowled poorly. 15 wides, you also mentioned it. How crucial are those 15 wides? And I just think not much is going for them. When you leave 2.5 overs out there and you bowl so sloppily, yes, they took the match close. I got that nail biter that I wanted, but it hasn't changed, to my opinion, anything that Pakistan is going to do. I still don't see them. They might win one match, the match against Bangladesh. But beyond that, it's such a lopsided tournament. You have 10 teams, of which literally 4 are competitive. Sri Lanka are now competitive because they managed to put together a few wins. Pakistan is not competitive. Afghanistan, great. They upset 2 teams, but that's probably where it's going to end. So again, yes, Pakistan took it close, but it says more about their ineptness, if I can use that word again, that the match went that deep. To my mind, just to my mind.
Okay. First, Chetan, do you agree with that? And second, for South Africa, though, I don't know how they look back at this, because that roar from Keshav Maharaj, that made it seem, and the way they all celebrated, ran onto the field, that made it seem like there was relief, but also, hey, the statement that we're not chokers. We were pushed to a corner, but we're not chokers. We did not choke. We came close. So in that sense, can that tag be, it cannot be completely removed, but thoda it can come down, you can put it aside? Or would you still say, come on, they were almost about to lose. They are chokers, they'll remain chokers.
I mean, there can be 10 other tags. I mean, you can put chokers, almost chokers. That doesn't really matter. I mean, when you talk about the fact that South Africa have been chokers, what happens in situations like this? They don't close out the game. Where I disagree with Jamie is that not every game you're not going to win by 6 wickets. You're not going to win by 4 wickets. Not every game Heinrich Klaasen will score a 40 ball 100. It doesn't work like that. These are different conditions. Chennai is very different from Mumbai or Bangalore or anywhere else or Delhi where South Africa have played. So these are going to be different conditions. Dharamshala, obviously, again, different conditions. Netherlands was superb that day. I can't say the same about Pakistan. Although they tried hard, trying spin at the top of the innings and then using pace against the South African middle order. So there is a pattern emerging there. But when a team has a mental barrier, you can't expect them to have a very, very smooth operation in every game, in every situation. They're not India, India is playing in a different level. They can't really play like that. South Africa has to overcome a mental barrier, and that's what they are trying to do. This team is trying very hard to do that. They are ignoring the fact that there is a tag around them. And the biggest point for me is that they actually believe in their ability to overcome that tag. And I think yesterday's game showed us, the way they knew. There's no doubt they knew that this is going really bad for them. Some of the shot selection was really bad. I could not believe Aiden Marram fell for that trap.
Yeah.
They got Nawaz. I think was that Nawaz or was that Osama Mir? Whoever that was. They got spinner. Just because they knew that they would go, Osama Mir. So they knew that, he would go for a big shot. And sometimes the big shots in that situation don't really come off. So it was a trap set by Pakistan. And Aiden Marram, and I was on another show with Jamie last night, and I explained that I understand why he went for that shot. In that situation, you balance out, and a set batsman wants to play that shot, get that extra run, because he's been the set batsman. He has to take the risk. And it didn't come off. The equation at that point, they did not need to take that risk. They just needed to play the singles out. So South Africa is trying hard to overcome a tag, a mental barrier. And I think this was a major step. When you see that celebration from Keshav Maharaj and Tabraiz Shamsi, that is emotional success against that mental barrier. I think I wouldn't say it was the first step, but it was one of very important steps to overcome that. Are they a world-beating side yet? No. Are they going to win this World Cup? I don't think so. But they still can. And for them, this win, if they do end up winning the World Cup, this win will be a very, very pivotal moment in that process.
So two completely opposite views. One thinks that they are chokers. The other one saying that this was a big step in shedding that tag, Jamie. Though I've got to say that you've got to give slight credit to Pakistan. I think there's that mental barrier amongst us as well. That whenever something like this happens with South Africa, suddenly we're not looking at what Pakistan are trying to do or the opposition is trying to do, but how South Africa are collapsing. So I agree that there were some shots that were bad, but you've also got to give credit to Pakistan in the way that they came back. South Africa were in cruise control at one point. It was only after David Miller, got out, and then Janssen. That's when you started getting that feeling that, oh my gosh, is this the choker's tag? Is that coming back? Are they going to collapse from here on? So somewhere I feel that is also something that South Africa are dealing with.
See, personally, I have no issue with the way that Aiden Marram played, only because when none of his teammates may have got to 30 runs, okay? So when he got the feeling that, oh my God, we've seen this episode, he did something which, to my mind, was probably worth 150, right? When you're seeing a familiar trait, when all these big six hitters who've done wonderful things, when they've suddenly gone AWOL, he realized that, I have to do something. And look, let's face it, that was a brilliant innings, But again, we have to ask the question, like you said, how much of it is Pakistan coming back into the match and how much of it is South Africa throwing it away? I'm still going to lean towards South Africa throwing it away, because were there any genius balls? I mean, the guy opened, Babar opened, we were live, three of us. He opened with Iftikhar, and the first ball went for, for 5 wides. That's the first sign, And then what was it? 20 runs or 19 runs in Shine's first over. There are all signs that, yes, we can budget for South Africa, stumbling. But Pakistan looked off to me from the first over of their defense. So unfortunately,
I'm going to say came back to bowl much better along with Haris Rao when they had their tails up. But guys, today this show is half an hour.
Yes.
Yeah, so this show is half an hour. Let's also talk about that controversial decision. And why I'm talking about this is, one, because this sort of opens up a larger topic that I've been wanting to touch upon, which is this whole soft signal thing. We've had this discussion before on some other show before the World Cup about this soft signal that, in a same match, and I'll give you an example, in a same match where Rassie van der Dussen, he was unfortunately given out due to an umpire's call, despite the fact that there was umpire's call, when you look at 2 parameters. Whereas the one with Tabraiz Shamsi, if you watch the match, with Tabraiz Shamsi, Haris Rao asked for an LBW. The soft signal was not out, and umpire's call, he was not given out. Harbhajan Singh spoke about it. He put this on Twitter and he says, bad umpiring and bad rules cost Pakistan this game. ICC should change this rule. If the ball is hitting the stump, that's out. Whether umpire gave out or not doesn't matter. Otherwise, what is the use of technology? I wouldn't go as far to say that they lost because of the DRS or because of the umpire. But yes, it does open up the larger debate. Let's get Chetan and Jamie's reaction to this one. What's your take on this, Chetan?
With all due respect, Harbhajan Singh doesn't understand the rules, doesn't understand technology, and I think that goes for a lot of cricket fans out there. When you see DRS and when you see the last bit of the projection, where the ball stops, is the trajectory of the ball which exists in the present, which has been recorded by the camera. When the ball hits the pad, from there to the stump is a projection. This word needs to be highlighted. This needs to be in bold. It's a projection. It's not something that has been recorded. It's a computer projection. It's a technology projection. Technology is not 100%. There is an error in it. There is a possibility of a 1% or a 2% error in it. And that's why the umpire's call is relevant, because the on-field umpire has the best decision-making ability in that moment to see where that projection is hitting the stumps or not hitting the stumps. Because of this margin of error, that is why you need the umpire's call in DRS, because of this projection, this element of error in the projection. The day technology becomes 100% or 110%, this projection would be very, very accurate. And then you can say if the ball is hitting the stump, that is out. Till that day, I'm sorry to say, this is the system we have, and the umpire's call is absolutely valid.
I'm all for it, but when you say that technology is not 100%, nor are the on-field umpires. So either you're depending on the technology or you're not depending on the technology. If the umpire is standing there, suddenly thinks, one second, listen. If the umpire is standing there, suddenly sees the decision, sees the delivery, and he thinks that it's hitting the stumps, or he thinks it doesn't hit the stumps, when it is umpire's call, the soft signal of giving out and not giving it out, that's where my problem is. Do we really need it? If you see, even by projection, if you're trusting the technology, if it's clipping the wickets in umpire's call, then either you say if it's clipping, the on-field umpire can say whatever, it's not out, or it's out. My problem is with that. Jamie, your take on that?
Look, I mean, we're still having this discussion. I think it was this year, or was it last year, that the ICC they scrapped the soft signal, right, for catches, right?
Yeah.
So when you're taking these calls, but you're not giving it here, again, I mean, I'll go with what Chetan's saying. Until the technology gets accurate, we're going to be discussing these things on the shows, right? But if the technology has not gone accurate, 2008, I think the two of us, Meher, were at the first use of DRS. It was in that test match in Colombo when Gary Kirsten was the coach of the team. And on the eve of it, a lot of the questions were about that. And he said, I remember he said something to the effect of, this is new territory, we're all sort of struggling with it, but I think it'll be a long time before all teams get used to it. And here we are, 17 years, something odd later, and we're still discussing it. So this is going to be a problem. What gets to me more than any soft signal or yesterday's two contentious decisions is, why isn't the technology being around for so many years? Why hasn't it improved? Why have we marginally improved since 2008? A former England player who played test cricket and got double hundreds. He's been a coach, he's been a commentator. He once told me, he's like, all these things, it comes down to who's the bloke sitting, in front of it. It comes down to his judgment call. And I laughed at the time saying, yeah, itna to nahi hai. But the more I watch it, it does come down to some, in the days of AI, it does come down to human intervention even now. So in yesterday's case, I think Harbhajan Singh has got the wrong reaction. But the bigger picture is, why are we still having these debates?
Yeah.
When 2008, the DRS was first used.
My thing is, it's got nothing to do with what Harbhajan Singh says, frankly. My problem with this is that, yes, one, why are we having this conversation? And also, stick to one thing. Believe in one thing. That same thing, if the umpire standing there gives it out, then it's out. With that same thing, if the umpire standing like this, he thinks it's not out, it's not out. While the technology shows that it is clipping the stumps. 50%, again, not 50%, 55%, 75%. I'm not going to get into that, because that's the margin of error they're talking about for everybody who wants to know. That margin of error, they're keeping that margin of error. Like Chetan said, it's a prediction. They're showing that this is, it's a prediction of where the ball is likely to hit the stumps. And when this umpire's call comes is when it's more than 50% of the ball, the uncertainty over it not clipping the wicket. That's when this uncertainty comes in. But that's my problem. Like, sometimes you say, nahi, ye out hai. Phir aap kehte ho, agar aapka umpire is standing there, he'll say, nahi, no, not out. So, I don't know. Something needs to be done. Definitely.
No. See, the thing is, when you're saying that the ball is clipping the stumps, the umpire is saying that, okay, I feel that this is clipping the stumps, or he's saying that, no, I don't feel that he's clipping the stumps.
Then don't use the technology, Chetan. If the umpire has to be given the final decision.
Wait.
Yeah.
No, wait. The rule of the game, it's saying that we are giving the opportunity to the fielding team to challenge the umpire's decision. But at the end of the day, the umpire's call is sacrosanct. Why? Because he is the best decision to aid in case the decision you get is heavily wrong. If more than 50% of the ball is clipping the stumps, then obviously the decision is wrong. And so in those cases, no, you can't pick and choose. You either use DRS or you don't use DRS.
That's my thing.
If you're using DRS, there is, so you have to accept, and it's for all teams in all conditions. If you're using DRS, there is a 1 to 2% margin of error, which is why the umpires call. And mind you, from 2008, now 15 years, this has been revised and revised and revised. This is probably the best version of DRS we have since 2008, including the umpire's call. Earlier also we had the umpire's call, and then we had this decision that every time the ball clips the stump, the umpire's call is going to be overturned.
I want to have this conversation with you, Chetan.
It created a huge
1 second.
problem.
It
created a huge problem.
I can imagine. I want to have this conversation with you when, India is playing, and this happens with India.
India did play in World Test. No, it happened with India, World Test Championship.
I know,
final,
but if they end up losing and getting out of a World Cup because of an umpire's call, we'll have a conversation then. But again,
what is right is right.
Yeah.
What is wrong is wrong.
Yeah. Okay. No, I don't think this is right or wrong. This is really about opinion. This one's about opinion. But yes, rules are rules. So we've got to go with the rules. Right now, the rule is that there is an umpire's call. Okay. Completely out of time. Take quick reactions on the match that is on. Jamie would be thrilled. Why the heck did New Zealand win the toss and bowl? And look at what Australia are doing. And what does Travis Head eat? He's been out for 6 weeks, comes in, starts, going bang, bang from the word go, Jamie. This is absolute carnage. New Zealand, I don't think can recover from here. Do you agree?
I mean, look, they've done really well. I mean, the opening stand was 175. For them to really get these guys out, I mean, they were on track for 450. They'll probably end up chasing 390, 400. But again, I mean, I hope this is the last time we see a captain opt to chase. It just show me the results. They're stacked in favor of teams batting first. So very, very few teams. India are only chasing because they have the best bowling attack in this whole tournament. So
and they have a chase master in Virat Kohli. Yeah. But Travis said, Chetan, now we understand why Australia waited and waited and waited to get him in. This is what he can do.
Oh, absolutely. Just stunning. I mean, I'm at a loss of words really to describe the way he was batting. I mean, to come in after 6 weeks, having had no match practice, just in a couple of net sessions, and outplaying David Warner, who's been in such tremendous form. And at the other end, Warner was going great guns as well, scored those 81 runs of what, 50 odd balls. To be able to do that, I mean, you know, every hospital needs the medicines that Travis had or the nutritional diets that Travis has been taking. So yeah, hats off to him. However, again, you know, like we have discussed, that middle order still continues to be an issue for Australia. You couldn't have Steve Smith and Manus Labuschagne at 3 and 4 earlier. Now they're batting them at 4 and 5. It just does not make sense to me. So let's see what happens in this game, and then probably Australia will take a call accordingly.
Okay, completely out of time, gentlemen. Thank you so much, Chetan and Jamie, for joining us here. That's it on this show. News9 Live is what you need to subscribe to for all the latest from the world of sports. For now, goodbye. Thanks for watching.
Literally every major power in the world is gearing up with its own digital currency. And so is India. But India's UPI has taken digital transactions to the next level. So, with UPI already available, what exactly is the use case for the e-rupee?
This and more streaming on world's first news OTT. News9 Plus, download now.